Morning. Excuse me, I'm recovering from a little bit of a summer cold. I am working on my Texas State Fair entries, and I need to do some components for a piece I'm planning. So I've got some pattern bar molds from Slumpies that have been kiln washed, and I have spaced them out evenly across my shelf here. And I have some rod. This is sunflower yellow and this is tomato red. This was a different attempt that didn't work very well, and I don't know what I'm going to use them for, so right now I'm just throwing them on here to slump them or drape them, I guess, technically as well. But I'm probably not going to use those, so pay no attention to those. But I've got tomato red and sunflower yellow, and I'm going to take these up to about 1200. I'm going to watch them and make sure that they drape into the holes the way I want them to, into the gaps there, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with them for my actual piece, so stay tuned. Okay, so I went 1300 for, gosh, I can't remember now, about 30 minutes, and gave me exactly what I was looking for here on these, so here comes the next step. All right, here comes the portion of the video where my good friend Paula McCoy from Colors for Earth may be watching this, and she shakes her head and cries in her hands. So I love Paula. She's so helpful, and she has a bajillion videos showing how to use her Colors for Earth products. And then I like to just dive in with no research whatsoever and just do my own thing. So I need to stencil or stencil, I suppose, is the best way to describe it, these words onto this piece of glass. So I have already cleaned my glass, and I want them in red. So I have some of Paula's designers, the DZ series designers, which is a pure pigment. It is non-enamel. You can use it on any COE glass, and I specifically am using the red here. And what you can do is you can mix this with her glass medium to basically form a paint. You can paint it onto your product, and then it has to be capped. If it's not capped, it's pure pigment. If it's not capped, it'll wipe right off. So what she talks about in here is you can fire and set it at 1325 and then cap it. Here's the key. I'm not planning on fully capping this piece. I am going to put clear powder over this, and my hope is that's enough to kind of seal that in. So I am going to stencil this on. I am going to fire it to 1325 just to get it set. Then I'm going to build out the rest of my design here, and then powder the whole thing, and then full fuse. I think that's what I'm planning. As I say that, maybe I don't need to. No, I'm not even full fusing. I'm losing my thoughts here. I am going to go to about 1425. That's what this designer series says. Firing range 1425 to 1550. To be honest, I wasn't planning on going to a full 1425. I was thinking more 1400, which might be still what I'm doing. But as I'm thinking about this out loud, I guess I don't know that I really need to set it. Why don't I just paint this on, maybe let it air dry, finish out the rest of my design, dust the entire thing with clear powder, and then fire it. I think that's what I'm going to do. So anyway, I went to my Cricut. I wrote out the words and the date. I'll explain this project here in a little bit. But I did two copies just in case I screw this up. So I cut them out in vinyl. I weeded out the letters. I put whatever this is called, some clear adhesive sheet over the top of it. And I'm not an expert, guys. You all know that. We're learning together. I printed two of them just so I had a good one to choose from. I'm going to peel that off then, stick it down on here, try to transfer it over. Then I'm going to mix up, I have a little bit of the designer's powder in here. I'm going to mix it up with some of the gel medium, and then I'm going to brush paint it on to my glass, which may give me brush strokes, but that's okay because it's kind of a vintagey look that I'm going for here. So I don't mind that. I'm rambling. I'm going to go ahead and cut this and do this. I'm probably going to speed this video up because I don't think that anybody cares about the details, and it'll get Paula through the misery of watching me try to use her products a little bit faster. So just hang on tight. I'm going to give this a shot and cross my fingers that this works the way I want it to. All right, in all, not bad. So I do have to get, I've got some, an X-Acto knife to get the centers out of the A, the O, the R, the 9, but I'm pretty pleased with this. It's not perfect, and that's mostly because of the texture of the glass. It allows some of the stuff to bleed under, and my skills may not have been as tight as they needed to be, but I'm okay with kind of a vintagey, rough vibe to this, so I'm very all right with it. So before I did this project, I was thinking about, do I just finish out the whole thing and fire it all at once? And I decided not to, because if this doesn't turn out the way I really want it to, then I'm going to have ruined the rest of my piece. So instead, I'm going to all the other components that I've built. So I am going to fire this by itself first, and then see how it looks. I am going to dust it with clear powder the first firing that it goes in, and then I will finish building out what I'm going to do. But just in case this doesn't turn out, then I haven't ruined all the components that are going on this, because there's some high value to some of those as well. So I'm going to take care of these centers, and then I'm going to fire it, and then I will come back and finally reveal what it is I'm building for the Texas State Fair. All right, so here we go. This turned out really well. I'm real pleased with this. There's kind of a little texture to it, the way the clear kind of fired on there, but I think it's actually super cool. Like, I love that effect. So very happy with both the color, the stencil design, and kind of how this all came together. So I'm pleased. I fired this to 1400 and then I held it for 15 minutes. I probably should not have held it that long. It did start to pull in a little bit on the side, but it's okay. It's going to work still for what I need. So I'm going to get this cleaned up and then show you the next step. All right, so here comes the reveal on what I'm actually making. I'm finally sharing it with you. I'm just making a framed plaque. So as a professional who sells glass, I am limited, very limited, in what I can enter into the Texas State Fair. And one of the categories under designer craftsman is a professional category for State Fair theme. So now you're competing with anything, any medium, painting, glasswork in this case, quilters, I don't know, jewelry artists, anything in this category. So it's not just a glass category, it is State Fair themed, meaning anybody can compete. So I am entering a framed plaque that features the corn dog, or as they call it here in Texas, the corny dog. And now there are different legends depending on which source you choose to believe. But Texas claims to have introduced the corn dog, or as they call it here, the corny dog, in 1942 at the Texas State Fair, company called Fletcher's, and whose colors are red and yellow. And so I just thought that this would be a fun piece to honor them. Again, if you're in Texas, you think the corny dog was invented here. Elsewhere online, there's some other competing narratives there. But I thought this would be a fun State Fair theme piece. So what I've done is I've cut out a piece of brown here, and I kind of like the texture on this. I don't know if I'm going to keep, if that'll stay. Even the color variation's kind of fun. And so I've got a piece of brown here to be the corn dog. I've got just a piece of French vanilla ribbon to be my corn dog stick. And I have water jet cuts. I have, I gotta clean all this up, but the state of Texas. So I thought this would be really fun to include down here. And I need to grab a star and put it on there. I also have a star to put in the middle here. And I'm considering some stringer on each side of that as well. That I don't know, I may change my mind. And then finally, remember these components that I made earlier. So I'm gonna chop that down and make a piece of mustard for my corn dog. So, or corny dog. So now it is time for me to basically assemble. I've got some hairspray here in a little needle-nosed bottle. I'm gonna use that to kind of keep everything in place where I want it. And so I gotta clean up all my glass and start to assemble this. And so you can watch as I do that. Here it is, and I am thrilled with the firing. It looks great. It kept the texture that I wanted it to keep. Everything is nice and shiny. This red print on here is just amazing. So super happy with this. Now, it dog boned in a little bit more than I wanted. You can see the distortion on these sides. It's not so obvious at the top or this side, maybe a little bit more here, but definitely on the bottom and this side I can see. But never fear. So like past projects that I've shown before, whoops, so sorry I hit the camera there. Because I intend to frame this, the frame gives me some margin to hide that. And so I love framing pieces for that very reason. Yes, more dog boning than I would have wanted, but in the end it's gonna work out fine because I left myself plenty of margin. So I'm gonna get this framed up and show you the finished piece. All right, here is the finished piece. I absolutely, let's zoom out, absolutely love this. I'm so happy with it. I used some of the other draped rods that I made to add some extra accents. I just glued them on with that Gorilla Glue clear construction adhesive that I love so much, and so I like that it just adds a little bit more to the frame, to the piece, and gives it some dimension. And you know, I don't know if it's going to win a ribbon at the fair or not, but it was fun to make, and hopefully you learned a little something from it. I am going to keep on playing with different ideas for these designers. I really do like that, and stenciling and such, but I'm pleased with how that turned out. And overall, just a fun piece. Hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Catch you all later. Bye-bye. Well, color me surprised, because I'm sure there are lots of great entries, but this thing won the blue ribbon. The blue ribbon in the State Fair theme of the State Fair of Texas, the largest state fair in the country. I'm pretty pleased with myself. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.